Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today, Americans, are you ready? Some of you are saying, what am I going to be ready for? Well, your lifestyle's going to be wiped out. Again today, the stock market did what it should be doing, going down. But that's because of chaos. But that does not mean that you cannot have a playbook, a plan, because you're the CEO of your life. And guess what else? Nobody's coming to save you except you. Now, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. And Stop Struggling Now gear, check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here in the house. And once again, please share the video so you know other people can find it. You can help other people find this video because they don't realize what is going on right before their eyes, right while they're sleeping, in the middle of the night. There's so much turmoil going on in the financial markets and worldwide markets because of one person, the President of the United States and his cohorts. Now, with that said, there's always opportunities. Whenever one lever is pulled, the great news about finance and financial and wealth building is there's always other things that you can buy to help you. So the gold and silver stackers, they're pretty happy right now because the chaos has increased the value of gold and silver faster than what it probably would normally do. But once again, that's physical gold and silver you should be holding, ladies and gentlemen, not paper gold and silver. So let's get to it, shall we? Because we do have to help our own. Professor Auntie Val and family has the beachfront Java, coffee, and tea. Something for you, ladies and gentlemen. So you go to beachfrontjava.com. When you order, you put in the promo code SSN Lifestyle, all caps, all one word. This way you receive a discount for life. Now, if you don't like coffee, there is tea. So there's something for everybody. But here's the kicker. For coffee, all premium blended beans, Ziploc fresh tasting all the time because of the bags that they come in. And better yet, where they're made. South America, Central America, Africa, Indonesia, the best in the world. And again, after your first order, you receive a discount for life if you use that promo code SSN Lifestyle. All caps, all one word. And also make a comment. Let her know you're from SSN Nation, but she already knows when you put in that promo code. Go order, show some love. Drip ground, fine ground, and Keurig and whole beans. Half-pound bags up to 5-pound bags. Go over there, show some love. Our own Professor Auntie Val and fam. Okay, with that started, once again, I'm going to start off this live stream based on the SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum. We haven't had anybody that's coming this year, May 13th, 14th, and 15th. So this is a good time to suspend the SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum. We will not have it in May. Nobody has registered. Nobody has signed up. It's a month from now. Airfares have increased. You can almost fly round trip to the EU zone right now. I couldn't believe what I was seeing from San Francisco to Barcelona, Spain. Can you believe? $600. No. $550 round trip. I know, it's incredible. From San Francisco, no doubt, no less, to Barcelona, Spain. Wow. It costs more to go to DR. That is a problem. All right. Let's see here. First things first, the Dow Jones. My, ladies and gentlemen, up and down, up and down. NVIDIA, they sneezed a little bit. They have to give a $5.5 billion write-off or whatever they're going to do because the tariff wars and because of security issues, you can only sell so many chips to the Chinese, and they cannot be the top tier chips. All right. So with that said, the markets took a tumble. Boeing Airlines got their notification from China. We're suspending our orders. That's 8,000 plus planes, ladies and gentlemen. That's not going to be ordered. At this point in time, you may want to give prayers to the Boeing workers. Even though it's not 50% or 70% of the orders, but 8,000 planes over the next 20 years was guaranteed orders. Even though Airbus has come into play, that's the EU. And you see a lot of Airbuses now, right? The A320 was one of their first ones that came over here. Even United States Airlines use Airbus. Now, again, world global economy, Americans. You don't run anything, Americans. The only thing you run is world currency, which you're devaluing currency, the US dollar, every second of every day. The rest of the world, they look at it differently, as they should, because if you were 36 trillion in debt, if any country was 36 trillion in debt and can't pay their interest, they would not be world currency, nor would you be using that currency against anybody else's and telling other people your currency are 50 to 1 and 30 to 1 and 100 to 1 when you're not even on point. So the rest of the world now is out here making their own side deals. F the World Trade Organization, even though they're not saying that, but they're within the framework of the WTO. So if you know all this chaos is going on, which is not really chaos when you really think about it, if, again, you have 3 people on your block and you're number 1 and number 2, you and number 2 have been trading, we're peaceful, everything's going great, and number 3 also, country, I'll use countries, countries number 3, all 3 of you are getting along fine, and then all of a sudden, number 2 says, since I'm the big bad wolf, I'm just going to raise tariffs against everybody. You too. Forget all the deals we had in place. Forget all that talk. I'm just going to charge you more to import to our house. Well, see, number 1 and number 3 says, okay, but you do realize I can just buy from number 3, and number 3 says you realize I can just buy from number 1. So I see your tariffs and we'll give you tariffs. So now you can't sell to our customers, but we can sell to each other's customers, number 1 and number 3 country. That puts us all in turmoil because now every person, every piece of items that you buy and bring in, now you have to decide how you're going to make sure it works for you and your country. That is what's happening right now. So when you have this type of turmoil, your government's not coming to save you. In fact, what we're having right now is a government in the United States that's going away from the FDR, away from social services, safety nets. We're lucky that Social Security has not been cut yet. Medicaid is on the block in the budget. Veterans, y'all are getting your stuff cut. Teachers' education cut. This is going downhill and it's rolling. The snowball has already started. Now, if you still want to be blind, fine, but you're going to have to start thinking, how much are you willing to pay and what's going to happen when you don't have schools that are free, health care that is any resemblance of being affordable, insurance being affordable, property taxes being affordable. All these things are going to come into play, and you can write off all that Chinese goods that Walmart, Amazon, all these other corporations have been able to exploit coming into the United States, where now the rest of the world will still be exploiting that. America is the only one doing this crazy stuff. So now they're making their own side deals. So the products and services between other countries, they're going to be fine. American citizens, congratulations, you're a consumer nation. So guess what's going to happen? You're going to be priced out. So now you're going to have choices, if you have choices, because if you look like you might be Latin, you might have some people that are not marked or clothed trying to grab you and tell you that you're not a citizen, when in fact you are a USA citizen, and escort you outside of the United States to another country. Then when they find out later that you're a US citizen, they say, you're a terrorist, you have a criminal record. What's the person's name? Yeah, he's a terrorist, he's a criminal, he's an illegal alien. This is what's happening right now in America, like it's 1930s Germany. This should be scaring the bejesus out of a lot of people. All I know is, since I'm black in America, first of all, when I see police rolling up, hey, I need to talk to you. No, I'm not thinking I need to engage, because there's a few things that are going to happen. You're thinking in your head, am I going to get shot today? Am I going to have to get an ass whipping or have to try to whip somebody's ass and then they say I was resisting arrest? Or they're just going to handcuff me and talk to me for an hour out here. This is not what most people have to deal with in America until this new and latest thing where the Latin people, Mexican, if you look Latin, Mexican, Native American, people can't tell the difference. They're just snatching these guys off the streets and doing whatever. They're just rolling up. I could be looking just like this saying, oh, I work for the ICE. I got a vest I can put on that says ICE or police and roll up and say, hey, you're under arrest. I'm going to detain you. And you're like, what are you talking about? I have a green card. I have a visa. I have a student. I got a work permit. I'm sorry, you're coming with us. This should scare a lot of people because a lot of families are going to be disrupted. And you know what that means. Chaos in America. And now you know my thing. EV Place, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. It's recession proof yourself. And he brings his tagline, good evening. He's just smashed the like button. He gave it a 1 piece. That's what I love. Everybody right now, give it a 1 piece so the YouTube guys know that you're in the house. A lot of people don't want to hear this message that I'm saying, but it's the damn truth. And what's the problem with all that I just said about confiscating individuals without any court of law? No, we're not taking you to the court of law. We're putting you on a plane and taking you out. Do you understand? This could be you. Don't be like that one guy. He's sitting there, this Latin dude sitting there getting arrested. Not really arrested. He didn't do anything wrong. He's explaining, hey, man, I got papers. I am legit. What's the problem? I'm not. And then he says the ultimate. I'm MAGA. I'm one of you. They said, I'm sorry. That's not how it works now, buddy. You look just like the people that's not supposed to be. Wait, supposed to be here? Let me get this straight. In case people see, this is the thing I have to talk about tonight because this right here is affecting your financial future. People do not realize it. Do you understand if this is the state of affairs and you're going to have to rely on anybody when 10, 20 people don't show up for work, businesses close, adjustments have to happen, and then you're the ones that's going to be out there going to places and you're going to say people were rude. They weren't, the right service. The quality was not good. Well, that's because the people that worked there weren't in that business. They weren't in the service industry, but now they are. Now they're getting paid less. Just saying. So you're going to have to protect yourself out here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, post-retirement travel. He's about to get on the worldwide tour, and he's about to say, okay, sayonara for a few months. That way, I don't have to worry about anything over around here. I made my investments. I have everything in place. And then the only question is, after you worked hard, put everything in place, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. And he says, hello all with his tagline, let's do this. That's right. We have to be a little rebel, ladies and gentlemen, because what I'm seeing, I'm a guy that lived all over the world. I've been all over the world. I have friends all over the world. And America was traditionally a safe haven for people who were being persecuted, people who were dealing with the cartels, people with a bad environment. They just said, okay, at least in America, I can come and get myself a little menial job. And if I have to work 2 or 3 jobs a day, I'll send some money back home. And now you have people afraid to come to your country, our country, United States of America. If anybody understands economics, this is not a good thing, right? Now, I don't know about you, but I generally don't go to unsafe countries that's going to kidnap me, right? I mean, let's just get real. So why would I come to a country if I'm not, I'll just say it, I'm not a white guy and I look anything but a white guy? Why would I come to a country? This is like me. Why would I go to Germany in 1935 being a black guy or Latin guy or Jewish person? Why? I'm going to go there for what purposes? I don't think so. So this is where the problem comes in. And unfortunately, because we are a nation of immigrants, we have a lot of people from around the world, from hundreds of countries that have a relationship, H-1B visa, green cards, work visas, work permits, coming across the border on a daily. I got a permit for that. I mean, there's so many, there's like 10 different reasons that you could be in America and doing it the right way. But when you have some dudes that have a vest on that says police, FBI, ICE, or nothing at all, trying to grab you at the courthouse, grab you at the immigration line, grab you at the grocery store, hold on. That doesn't seem like criminals to me, because here's what a criminal looks like. If you're a criminal, that would mean you might know where the criminal lived or the name. After the person's a criminal and he's on the run, he's not going to be at the courthouse trying to get his immigration papers. He's not going to be in the immigration line calling in saying, hey, you have to report this week. Come on down and go show up and report. If you were freaking illegally and criminal, why would you show up? But that's what's happening, and people are getting jacked when they show up legally. If that doesn't scare you, and United States citizens are being deported, and they know they're United States citizens, and you know what just happened? El Salvador. They said, we can't get them back. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there this new guy, old guy, new guy that just showed up in office in January that said, I can stop wars day one? Now all of a sudden, the same guy is saying, I shipped off some United States citizens illegally, but I can't get them back. Ladies and gentlemen, does this sound like some sort of joke? This is a joke, right? Mr. Big, Bad, Tough. Guess he can't do shit. Now, it's disgusting to me because America used to be the one, the shining star that everybody said, man, if I come there, I can be the best. I can go to school. I can get an education because in my country, they don't allow women to have education. In my country, because I'm a shoe guy, my dad was a shoe guy, his dad's a shoe guy, they won't give me a visa to leave the country. So I'm going to get on a boat. Please give me asylum. That's what used to be America. Yes, you can come on in, man. You can make a better life. Now, all of a sudden, we have a problem, Houston. Yahweh J, another investor's in the house. Is he going to invest when the markets are doing this? Hell yes. Is he going to invest when real estate goes down? Hell yes. And welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Yahweh J, he says it best. What's his tagline? Hello, SSN Nation. Hope everyone is doing well. Receive notification and smash the like button as well. It gave it a one-piece uppercut. Thank you so much for that. Joe Nay, another investor's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he brings his tagline, Mr. Worldwide, are you a resident of DR? Let us know if you're hanging over there, man. It's about that time. What's good, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. That's it, man. I just smashed that like button. Oh, man, this is like old times. Giving it that uppercut. That's right. And make sure you guys share the videos because today I'm on one a little bit, but we're going to get to the money because you have to. You have no choice. You can't be recession proof. You got to get recession proof. Is there even a way? If you have stocks and stocks melt down like it's 1930, 33, 34, 35, can you survive? If your pensions are gone, if your 401k is gone, what can you do then? If Social Security gone, that's why you need the 6, 7, 8 streams of income. You're like me, short-term rentals on Airbnb, pretty much also beat down, gone. So now you have to have another revenue. Oh, in fact, just like right now on YouTube, the channel's not monetized. So I don't get any money from YouTube for doing videos or anything. So that's gone, right? My harmful rhetoric. So I'll take the harmful rhetoric because what I just did in the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that's considered harmful rhetoric now. When you tell people the truth about what's going on, that's harmful rhetoric. That's also a sign of what you should not want in America. When somebody can't say what's going on and they're telling you it's harmful rhetoric. When you can't say there's a war in Russia, Russia and Ukraine has a war, and you don't like it because, well, I don't like it because Russia invaded Ukraine. And then other people are going, well, it was Ukraine's fault. And I'm like, again, country one, country two, country three. Country one goes and invades, knocks on the door at country three, and comes, smacks open his doors, goes in every room, ransacks it, and then comes back, tells country number two, oh, it's hey man, it's country number three's fault. And country number two sitting there going, what are you talking about? You just invaded, busted open their doors, lit a fire to their house. And now you got other people saying, oh, it's number three's fault. I'm like, how? So I'm going to say, are you going to tell me now that you're Mr. and Mrs. Soft? Because now you're going to be like, oh, I got my feelings hurt for some rhetoric? Or are we talking about somebody bombed your innocent civilians? Because if that's the case, you should have said that from the get-go. But since they didn't, obviously you could not prove it because it didn't happen. So this is a problem. So we got a bunch of nonsense going on in the world all over, whether it's in the EU, whether it's in Russia, North Korea, China, whether it's in Middle East. There's too many fires going on right now, and there's no leader, which the United States was always the guys that said, hey, hold on. Let's all meet. Let's round up. Let's make this a coalition. Let's see if we can make something happen. Now it's all freaking countries for themselves. If you think you're going to survive this, ladies and gentlemen, I got a river with a paddle and a boat, and you're going to be up the river without a paddle. That's what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, are you going to be worldwide? It's almost a mandatory situation at this point. 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, I started telling everybody at the SS Nation, get some property offshore. This exact same situation that people were like scoffing about for the last 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, were saying, that'll never happen. Well, now, US citizens, Americans who's getting deported, if you're in another country right now, I don't know what they're going through because they're in prison. But all I know is, at least I can sit there and say, okay, don't send me back to America, then send me over here. Send me to that other country that I have some property in, or I have some ties to. I can hang out there for 30, 60, 90 days, at least, minimum. Then I can figure stuff out. But at least I won't have ICE rolling up on me. And that is where we go, ladies and gentlemen. All right. He goes right here. I'm on my way this weekend. One-way ticket. All right, man. One-way ticket it is. Happy to know this. You're going to be staying in Jardines 3. So you'll let us know next week what it's like. Now, let's get down to the business at hand, because you have to have something outside of the United States, or you're going to have like 7 different streams of revenue, including outside the United States, some streams. It's a mandatory situation, unfortunately, now. This is situation critical. Now, Americans, are you guys going to be ready? The gold thing, right? We have to have gold. What are you going to do with the gold if you have gold and silver? What are you going to do? I just want to know, ladies and gentlemen, what are you guys going to do if you have gold and silver and all of a sudden somebody comes and makes your life more difficult? How are you going to access it? I hope you're not going to tell me that you're putting in a vault or safe deposit box or anything like this that requires a monthly or annual payment. Because if you get in a serious situation where all of a sudden you have bank accounts jacked, you got everything turned off, and you can't access things, then you could put yourself in jeopardy. So start thinking about alternatives. Duffel bags of cash, okay, that's good. Suitcase of cash, that's always good. But think about everything else. Now, the majority of people, they don't have to worry. 300 million, 280 million, don't have to worry. But we have like probably 10 to 20% of the population that does have to worry. I'm included, I have to be worried. Because what I've been telling you guys for years is what you don't know. What America is doing now, that's in the face, showing people what they do to people when they have figured out there's activities that should not be happening and things. Well, now people have social media. Back in the day, there was no social media. They were doing all this stuff too, except since there was no way to videotape it on demand, it was few and far between that you would know about it, and let alone the media would not carry. So I'm the one, like I've been telling you guys, that have been through this already. And this is why I feel a certain way. So I have to admit, because you can imagine when you are a virgin and you know the Constitution, you know the laws, and then you find out certain people don't abide by the laws, meaning police, they don't abide, right? Senators in state houses and federal do not abide. They can be bribed. So when you start finding all this out and somebody's telling you, oh, this illegal, I'm like, hold up a second, man. Do you know what our freaking FBI is doing? Do you know what our DOJ is doing? I'm like, I don't really care about them guys. I don't really care about them. They're trying to set people up, give them court cases, give them jackets, do whatever they can do to stop people from selling stuff, creating businesses, doing all kind of stuff that's legal. And they're sitting there acting like, oh, no, no, it's not. We're making up a new law. We got to make a new law. And you're like, that really goes on? And like I said, I've talked about this before. You can imagine 40 years ago when I'm talking to people and I'm saying exactly what's happening right now, and people are looking at you like, you must have did something wrong. I'm like, I just told you. What does that sound like? There's something wrong? I was like, what are you talking? It's like you're looking at them crazy, but now you have it in your face and people are still making excuses. Bribery goes on. Must spend $45 million, $200 million to try to get Trump into office. You have the same individuals who are billionaires bribing our senators, our congressmen and women. All this stuff is right in the open, and people are still going along with it. You're not even supposed to be able to do tariffs. Just write a EO, executive order, and say, here's tariffs. You're not even supposed to do that. So now we have a constitutional crisis because the vote in Congress and the House who handles the money says, hey, man, we're supposed to do the tariffs. You're not supposed to do the tariffs. You have to involve us. Now you have a president who says, no, I don't have to. You have a Supreme Court who's now going to make decisions based on who? The Constitution or the president, unfortunately. And we already know when they decided to give immunity to anybody for doing wrong, whether the president or not, you already knew the Constitution is going out the window. So now, do you think you're going to be in a fair and level playing field going forward? The cat's out of the bag. You have 3 years, 1 year, 8 months, 3 years to make decisions if another shoe doesn't drop, which could be a war situation because Iran now is talking crap. Joe Nay from post-retirement, congratulations. Take a break from the USA. Bills, good luck to you. I'll be right behind you. Exactly. Joe Nay, he says it. People are bouncing to other countries. Yucatan State, Mexico, Panama, DR, and certain places in Europe. Yep, you got that right. Joe Nay says gracias at post-retirement travel, which also, ladies and gentlemen, go to post-retirement travels YouTube channel page, Instagram page, because he's going on the worldwide tour. He's going to be posting some more videos and pictures, and you guys got to check it out. Some of these places are inexpensive compared to the United States. It's outrageous. So just keep that in mind. But think about it, ladies and gentlemen. You have so many daggers. It's mind-boggling. You sit there when you're sitting there. I'm sitting there like, I was just thinking about it yesterday, and I was like, man, property taxes. I was like, insurance, property taxes, insurance for the house, insurance for the car, renter insurance, other liability insurances, water, sewer, garbage. All of these things I just mentioned, 5 things, you don't know what they're going to cost when you have to renew. You don't even know if you can renew. So if it's that unstable, how are you going to know? Now you're going to have to figure out what happens if you get sick. Is your health care actually going to cover, or what type of deductible do you have to pay? All of this is in flux. So keep that in mind. So you're talking about your livelihood. Grocery store prices are going to climb because we have tariff wars. So again, there's no protection unless, of course, you had a farm. And even then, there's no protection because heaven forbid, some little farmers, little grain blew into your field, and that mega corporation comes over to your field and says, hey, you're using our stuff. And you're like, what do you mean? This is my 25, 40 acres. I'm growing stuff here. Oh no, our stuff pollinated your stuff. We gotta go to court. Excuse me? What are you talking about? That's a thing. So now all these people that go, oh yeah, I gotta have a farm, I'm gonna do this, that. We're in America, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have no clue what goes on out here because you have to be in it. And when you're in it, then you find out that these corporations, and with the government's help, is taking people's crops, their farms, doing all kind of crazy stuff because you can sue people in America. Yeah, Google that. You guys will be like, what the? Yeah, exactly. What the frick? All right. So basically, what we're having right now, you're having a state, you're having a country versus the people using administration. And it's gotten worse because now there's a few winners, right? There's people that can figure out how to win and take advantage. And now they have a person that if I can pay you $5 million for that gold card, that now I can be a United States citizen because I paid $5 million to that Trump card. I get to bypass the line the right way. Crazy talk, man. This is like wild. So if you guys don't think that's a third world country, you damn sure don't know it yet because I don't know what you're looking at. So protect yourself, recession proof yourself. How can you do it? I don't even know at this point. We talk about stocks. We talk about dividend investments. We talk about gold, silver. We talk about real estate. We talk about long-term, short-term. We talk about investing outside the United States. Nobody was saying we're leaving the United States, but invest in other countries so you always have a safety net, so to speak. But who knew that that safety net was going to evaporate within 1 year and 8 months? This is crazy. So are you guys going to get a fire lit up on your ass and decide to say, hey, wait a minute, hold on. You know what else? The IRS. 20,000 people are going to be fired or layoff, whatever, semantics. 20,000 IRS agents are going to be let go, right? So you do realize that that's less people to process. You do realize Social Security Administration people were let go. So now that means there's going to be problems with Social Security eventually, right? I mean, this is like a freaking awesome sci-fi in the future movie where the good guys somehow come back. And I think it was something like Terminator. That's what this is like. It's like, do we have enough good guys left? Or do we have to rely on one person out of the blue that saves humanity. This is crazy right now. All right. Gracias, post-retirement travel. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are you going to do? You see what happened today? I've seen it. I don't even know what to say anymore about it. These ups and downs, it's good for people that's in the market. It's very good for insider trading if you're friends of the government and you know what announcements coming out tomorrow. And they're telling their friends what's coming out tomorrow. So therefore they can buy tonight or in the morning before they make the announcements. That's crazy. You would think that's a third world country. Well, guess what? Senators, congressmen, House congressmen, they all have this situation going on where they get briefed, and then yet after they hear from the brief, they call up their broker, say, hey man, dump this or buy this. It's been going on for decades. Man, I'm just talking about my third world that I've been telling you guys about for the longest. All right, let's get into it. Once again, oh, I forgot tonight was Americans, right? This bugs me. These live streams, they don't come up right for me. Okay, Americans. I can't even see what the title was tonight. Hold on a second. Let me go look at something. What was my title? Just a second. Where's the title at? I know it was Americans. Are you ready? I know. That's right. It was Americans. Are you ready? And then after that, I can't remember the last part of it, but it's okay. But you guys are going to have to get ready. 1 year, 8 months, if we can even get there. This is crazy. But anyhow, the stock market went down. Opportunities are all over the place. Nvidia, with their problems, they did not go to 85 or 90 or 95. They stayed at 100 or more. So I look at that as a positive. So everybody who had their dollar cost average down in the 90 or well, under 100, you're still positive. Even with that $5.5 billion charge off that they're going to have to be hit with. And maybe some sort of problems in the future because China is going to order less chips. So these are the type of things that have a heavy burden for the rest of the industry. And unfortunately, it's happened right before our eyes. But can we take advantage of it? Can you take advantage of it? I say we trying. We are trying because the stock market is owned, 93% of it is owned by the top 10% of the wealthiest. So they're always going to make sure that it's taken care of because those same top 10% of the wealthiest own big time corporations, the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, the ETFs, the SPYs. I mean, it's an endless amount of trillions of dollars that they control. Pension funds are even controlled. So now they can always buy their own shares of stock, right? Federal Reserve can always say, hey guys, you can borrow at 1.5% for 15 years. They'll take that every day because your treasuries are 4%. Even if your treasuries are 3.5, you'd borrow as much as you can and take the 2% spread. So if somebody said, we'll give you $100 million, and you said, oh, okay, I get to keep 2% by doing nothing. Well, I mean, what are we talking about here? That's a huge advantage. All right, here we go. I had to get an international health certificate for my dog. Got it just in time. Doge fired a good bit of people at the USDA. Yes, this is true, which has slowed down considerably approving international health certificates. There you go. I'm like, if you're trying to destroy a country, make it into a third world scenario, they're doing one hell of a job. It's already here, actually. There's nothing more you can say. If I can bribe officials, if I can bribe a president, if I can bribe police officers, I can bribe judges and make judges do whatever they want. I mean, everything is out of whack. If you can disobey the Constitution and you're good, then you're out of whack. If you can deport U.S. citizens and everything's good, then everything's out of whack. A lot of people are bitching, but the government, the judges made rulings. The government said, nope, I don't care. Does not apply. And by the way, since it's in another country, they don't have to go by United States laws, and people are outraged because you guys stole United States citizens, you kidnapped them. That's crazy to me in itself. I mean, that's just wild. This is just basically is the difference between a cartel and the United States government at this point. That's what's wild to me. I'm like thinking like when you go down to Mexico and you're hanging out and you see some cartel type figures and you're thinking, okay, even though nothing's going to happen, but then you realize they are going to snatch up some people, right? That's what this is like. Like you're in a freaking cartel zone where you're just walking down the street or you're going to a court situation or wherever, and somebody comes up to you. You look like these dudes. We got to come here. Not marked. Don't have anything on. They got handcuffs, a gun, walkie-talkies. I'm like, what? Hey, come here. We come here. We need to talk to you. I'm like, this is crazy right now. Scary. No quarantine. Oh, hold on a second. I missed something. Hold on. At Joe Nay from Post-Retirement Travel, dog has to go into quarantine upon arrival, correct? Do you know how long? No quarantine. No quarantine? What? Are you serious right now? Oh, the health certificate applies with they have an agreement with DR? Is that what you're saying? Because that's wild. That's really wild. But then again, let's just, hey, the resources on the island of the Dominican Republic is short-lived. I mean, they don't have that many resources themselves. So, you know, we'll see how that all goes. Okay, down below in the description box, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you download Robinhood, Webull, Moomoo. Get your free shares of stock. Yes, they are affiliate links. Use those down below. And some of you say, Eric, I don't want to invest. I'll use Wealthfront. So use Wealthfront. The link is down below. You put $500 in, up to $4,900, and there's no management fee. That's a great deal, quite frankly, because right now, maybe you might not want to manage your own portfolio or manage a consortium of ETFs and things like that. So maybe that's the best deal. Or hopefully you have a 401k, you're still putting money into the 401k, because no matter what happens with the stock market, as everybody knows, I mean, it's almost like, I can't believe I'm hearing ordinary citizens going, the stock market will go back up. It always does. And I'm just like, I'm like a whole bunch of people. I'm like, wait, when the stock market went down like 3,000 points, I couldn't believe on social media, friends and other friends of friends were all just cavalier. Oh, don't worry. It always goes back up. I was like, since when is this a thing? There must be something going on in the air. I wonder who it could be. I'm like, oh, don't worry, it'll always go back up. And I'm thinking, okay, are all you guys investing right now? If you think this, why would you not be investing? So that's my response. If you think this, let me know what stocks or what ETFs or what are you investing in? I want to hear this. This is crazy to me. Because if this was the case, this would have been, there wouldn't be 93% of the stocks are owned by the top 10% of the wealthiest, if that was the case. So here we are. Good for you. Enough of these prices here. Everyone wants to get in your pocket here. Sick of it. Post-retirement travel, I know, man. That's what's actually going on. Look, have you guys seen the latest? I mean, this is almost like bashing America, but it's not. It is, but it's the circumstance. You know what I saw the other on one of my friends put down. It was in Vegas. They put down. Get this. They paid for a buffet for $59. for a freaking buffet. One person, not two, three, one. I'm like, what the heck? $59. Got a mimosa that was $17. That's right, a mimosa. $17. So what does that mean? The bill's up to 80, what is that? 67, what is that? 77, right? So we're around $76, $77. You add on the tax, which I don't remember what it was, but let's say it was like $10. Because it was like the bill was like 80 some dollars. And get this, they had the audacity to add 15% on top. And at the bottom, it said tip. And the reason why he showed this is because where it said tip, he put LOL. And I was like, $59 for a buffet. Add the 15% on top of the taxes and the mimosa and all that, and then had a line for tip after they already got a tip. That is insulting. This is a third world setup. This is crazy. And in fact, here's the funny part. This is what DR started to do as well. They started doing 18% ITVAs. Then they go, oh, it's 10% for the staff. And then on top of that, they go, oh, here's the thing. A lot, you know how they do it. The 15% is this. The 20 is this. The 20. I'm like, and you already raised the prices about $20 more than it's ever been before. And now you're doing this 28%. And I'm just like, this is getting out of control. But this is what's happening in America. It's happening in America. I went to what store was it at here in Cali? I went to a regular store in Cali. I don't know if it was a CVS. I don't know if it was a Rite Aid. I don't remember what it was. All I remember was when the check came out, the ticket came out. It literally said tip 15%. And I was like, that's odd. I'm at Walgreens or Rite Aid or wherever I was. I'm like, since when is this a thing? But it was on there. That's the sign that you need to buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Where do you get this gear? StopStrugglingNow.com. I suggest you go over there and get it now, because once it's gone, it's going to be gone unless there's new colors that come out. Now shipment goes straight. What's this? Through customs with little interference. Hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on. If it wasn't for me being able to start my DR residency, I would have had to give my arm to ship vehicle along with household goods. Oh, yeah, man, that's one of the benefits. Awesome. Now shipment goes straight through customs with little interference. Exactly, man. That's one of the benefits. That's why people want residency. The right way. This is a perfect example of what's happening here in America. Joe Ney went over there, got all his paperwork together for his residency. During his time he's going to be there, he's probably going to have to go meet the immigration, whether it's a year from now or whether it's 6 months from now. He's got to go meet immigration. Can you imagine if some dudes rolled up, 5, 6 people rolled up while he's sitting there waiting for his immigration appointment? Hey, man, you're getting deported right now. You would be like, what the? That is what America's doing. That would be wild. That would be crazy. All right, Joe Ney from Post-Retirement Down. That's great. You don't pay anything at all. Is this like a retirement visa? No, he went for full residency. So he'll be a citizen in what, 5 years, I think? You got to do what, 1 years or something like that. I don't know. He did some other things because he went to the embassies in USA, in DR. He was running all over the place. The man put in work. It was crazy. I couldn't believe everything he was going through. I'll pay a little tax, but not nothing outrageous. Of course not. It's not going to be outrageous, man, because you got the golden ticket now because you got that retirement. Actually, you could do the immigration thing a different way. I don't know how you did it, but you have several options because you could have done that, the retirement residency because of your VA and all that in the military. So you could have used that as some sort of a lever. And I'm pretty sure whatever levers you pulled, um, you were jumping through all kind of hoops and you made it work, man. You should write a book. You should write make a website so people know where they have to go. Cause you were all over, man. That was awesome to see, man. You persevered through it and did the damn thing. So very happy for you, man, and all that. But yeah, man, can you imagine somebody sitting over in another country thinking their residency is all good, paperwork's all good, and then somebody comes snatch you up saying, "Oh no, you're no good no more here." And you'd be like, "Why?" And then you watch on the news and they go, "Oh yeah, 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 he's a terrorist." You'd be like, "What are you talking about, man?" Oh man, this is wild stuff, man. It's scary, quite scary, and especially since I'm on America's Most Wanted list. Um, of course, it's quite scary to me, but I'm still gonna say what I gotta say. So if one day I'm not on live streams for not just one time, but 3 or 4 in a row, then you know somebody showed up saying, all right, you talking all that smack against the administration? We're coming to get you. We're going to deport you. We're going to take away your citizenship. I'll pay a little tax, but nothing. Um, let's see, Jonay, as long as you have your PIN number for the residency, which everyone process with the DR ministry relocation becomes a little simpler. Yes, exactly. But I was using that as an analogy. Imagine that you already did all that, and all of a sudden, while you're going down to your appointment to get everything making finalized, all of a sudden somebody shows up and deports you to another country. Not United States, but to another country. And I'll use this one, El Salvador prison. Yeah, you wouldn't be like, that'd be crazy right now, right? That's Guantanamo South when you start talking about that. No joke. But anyhow, enough about all that, ladies and gentlemen. The bottom line of the story is a lot of people don't like hearing this because we're on this tribal thing and you're willing to give up all your rights so you can do what? Pay more money? That's crazy. Why don't you worry about our government rolling over on our Constitution, our law enforcement disregarding our laws, disregarding judges? You should start worrying about that. That means you get a Schedule ID. I guess I can use my wife to ship stuff there since she's a Dominican. Exactly, post-retirement travel. You have no worries. You have a person that's a Dominican. So she's going to be no problem. Yes, at post-retirement travel. Exactly. You're going to have no problem. Post-retirement travel, you actually have what I call dual citizenship anyhow because you're married to another person that's a citizen. So by default, her side can get whatever the Dominican citizen would be good with. The only thing is, your side, if you plan on staying there any length of time, you're going to have to deal with the residency situation, but that's going to be easy for you as well. So that'll be very, very nice. Exactly. You have a much better path forward because your spouse is Dominican. Exactly. That's exactly right. So he's pretty much in. He's in by default. That's just like a person that marries a United States citizen. Well, previously, you marry a United States citizens and then your spouse comes and then you have a different path, right? It's easier well, I don't know if it's easier, but he or she can still get citizenship in the United States. And you could be sponsor and you could do you have advantages. So again, too bad it's so tough. A lot of countries make you jump through hoops, which is pretty wild. Once they sign off on you and what can they do? Background check, money check. And then after that, why is there, all these other hoops to jump through? You have to ask yourself, right? I don't even understand it, quite frankly. America used to be that one that understood persecution elsewhere. Come to America, make your life better. We welcome everybody, all race, creed, colors, religions. Now, after that, the laws are kind of skewed a certain way that gives some people an advantage over others. All right, you have much better path forward. Exactly. All right, let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. What about this Money Making Monday that we talked about? What about today, Wealthy Wednesday night live stream? Americans, are you ready to throw down? Somebody's going to have to think hard and long about where you're going to live, what you're going to do, your future. Lawyer is going to hand walk me through the medical exam and then VIP through the DR ministry, and I'll receive my cedula. There we go. But still, look at all these things, right? You're trying to do something, and look at all these places that you have to go to. Can you imagine somebody interrupts you in DR and says, "Hold on," and you're looking at them like, "Who are you?" Well, me and my 4 guys here, we're going to deport you. The plane's over here, and you're sitting there like, "Wait, my stuff, my ID, my wallet, my computers, my laptop." Oh, no, no, no. Hey, man, you're getting on a plane right now, and we're deporting you to El Salvador in a prison. Gee, that's what we got going down. In fact, I have to check into that. Too bad DR doesn't have Social Security. My wife worked at band reservist for many years, just trying to get another passive income stream. Oh, man. Yeah, exactly, man. They don't have Social Security, man. No, that country is so poor. It's crazy. And people don't think DR is not poor. They have I can't even remember the numbers. Well, okay, they may have had 11 million people at one time on the Dominican Republic side, right? It may be reduced due to the Haitian situation now, but at one time it was 11 million. The problem is, if you try to find out, even through Google, what the average price is, or not price, the average income in the DR is, you can't find out. It's all over the map. There's no credible agency that can tell you, because it says 9,000, it says 8,000, it says 12,000. I saw one that even said 24,000. But after I stayed there for a while and was talking to people, there was no way these dudes are making 2 G's a month. Most jobs, USD, most jobs were not doing 2,000. So all the little mom and pops and all the restaurants and all the businesses that cater to tourism, no, the people are not doing like 2 G's a month, which is what would have been required when they said 24,000. So I just dismissed that as somebody's propaganda. Because once you're there and you're not in the tourist zone and you're walking around, you realize very quickly people are not making 2 G's a month, because the living quarters and the housing and the way it's structured, you can tell nobody's paying $1,000 a month to live, right? So when I go out to Fruisa and I got off the back road and I go down a little quarter-mile cement and all of a sudden dirt. Nah, man. No, they're not making 2 G's a month. All right. You're lucky to even have running water out here. It's crazy stuff that's going on. So these are the type of things that makes it weird, because no matter what country you're in, your citizens have to make money. They have to be livable wages. And if you can't deliver that and you go the other way where you're strong arming your citizens and taking away social security type benefits, man, it's bad. It's bad. It's very bad. I'd rather go through USMC specialized training again than get sent to El Salvador prison. Tell me about it. That's too much pressure on my heart. I hope they haven't beat that gentleman up. No, see, Joe Nay, this is the thing that most people don't understand. It wasn't just him. There's other people. There's other United States citizens that went with him. They only talk about the one guy. They're not talking about the 20 to 30 other people that were snatched up who are U.S. citizens that are there. That's the thing. That's the travesty. The news is just doing some BS talking about, oh, this one. It's not the one guy. I'm just like, this is sick. You said, I hope they haven't beat that gentleman up. I'm saying, I'm thinking he's dead. I'm thinking it's Guantanamo South. No due process, no records, not going against our judicial system to go get him. And not just him, it's other people that's U.S. citizens that were snatched up that are also down there in El Salvador prisons. That's the scary part. And there's nothing anybody apparently can do about it. No other country is going to save you. If America's not saving you, do you think somebody else is going to step in and save you? Not likely. So all I'm saying is you can already get a preview of if your own country, which is United States, is willing to put you in another country, in a prison where you know it's the top 5 prisons that is effed up in the world. You think that's okay? What do you think they're going to do to the regular old folks who are all good? Who are good? I mean, like, doing nothing. You think they're going to save your ass? They're going to ship your ass over too, potentially. If you decide to say something like tonight, what I'm talking about, I can be shipped away. They've already done it to students at universities who had green cards or who had visas and all this stuff. This is crazy. Freedom of speech no longer exists, apparently. And due process no longer allowed. Senator from Maryland wasn't allowed to see or talk to him. Exactly. There you go, man. He's probably dead, man. Along with about another 20 to 30 Americans. It's not just him. He's the poster child. But others were with him that also were not criminals, who had no records, who were doing paperwork, who's here doing paperwork. And the interesting part about this is the guy works for a union, and the union president was going off. And so I thought that was interesting. But what I find disheartening is they don't talk about anybody else that went with him. There's other Americans that went with him. So again, as a person who's in the military family, I myself was not in the military. My dad was. And my uncle, my other uncle, I mean, we got a lot of people who are in the military who actually had to be in Korea, Vietnam. My cousin goes to Iraq, the first, 93. Walking past Iraqis who buried themselves in the sand. The only reason he's alive today is because the Iraqis were cut off from their supplies. They were buried in the sand. They walked right by them in the desert. They popped up because they were starving, no water, no rations, no nothing. Instead of shooting, they raised their hands up in the guns and gave up. That's the only reason he's alive, is because of that. They literally walked right past them. A whole platoon would have been wiped out if these guys had legitimate army. But because, like I said, they were starving, had nothing, no rations, they just came up with their guns and gave up. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And by the grace of God, my family members made it back from Korea, Vietnam, and in this case, my cousin from Iraq. Fortunately, we never had to deal with folding up, the flag and going to the military cemetery. So they fought for rights that we're supposed to have. And now watching all that evaporate within 3 months is crazy. It's travesty. So anyhow, I don't like to be a prophet, but I said I told you so, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you go out there and get your passport. Another way to get recession proof. You're going to have to, because they're going to this real ID nonsense, which, okay, another way so to make you not be able to potentially register to vote and all this crazy. You can see this is going the wrong way. The wrong way. Protect yourself. This is my warning shots. 1 year, 8 months left. But tonight, Americans, are you going to be ready? You're already not ready. First of all, some of you might have to go out to the shooting range. You might have to start loading up on some of that brass and some other things, because you don't know who's coming through your front door. I'm just saying. And I'm just saying, I'm like, does it really matter if a person is wearing an FBI, ICE, police, and they come running, bum rushing through your door? They don't even have a warrant. I mean, this is what we're dealing with right now, ladies and gentlemen. What are people going to do? I guess die? Because they're going to overwhelm you when they have 5, 6, 7 dudes. You only have, you got enough to fend them off, but obviously, once you shoot at them, they're going to start shooting back at you without any identification, and you're going to be sitting there like, no warrants, no nothing, but you're going to be dead because somebody busted open your door and it's them, the brown shirts, the SS, but they're going to be good. So anyhow, I'm going to cut that off right now. 1 hour, 12 minutes. No more talk about that. Let's get into the situation at hand. We got CNBC, right? That's what I go by. I'll just look at their numbers here shortly. CNBC. We can see the numbers. It was a red day. I think it was down on 600 or 700 points for the Dow. It's just yo-yoing. I'm not mad, because if you have YOMAX ETFs, if you have the Defiance Group, if you have those stocks that are based on option income trading, oh no. Uh-oh. Trade war fallout. Cancellations of Chinese freight ships begin as bookings plummet. Oh no. Okay. If this is the case, ladies and gentlemen, America's about to F around and find out if I got this right. Are we serious with this right now? CBP says latest tariffs have generated 500 million, well below Trump's estimate. Yeah, but that's on the back of the importers that have to pay the tariff. So yeah, I mean, that's a tax. So great. Businesses got taxed 500 million. Great. So what? And now citizens have to pay more for those goods. So I don't understand how that's a win. Global trade outlook has deteriorated sharply amid Trump tariff uncertainty. WTO warns again. Even though I haven't seen this is exactly what I was talking about earlier about House 1, House 2, House 3, Country 1, Country 2, Country 3. Once you have uncertainty because Country 1 did something to Country 3, and now you don't agree, you're like, what's the hell's going on? Then Country 1 says, oh, by the way, you're in this too, and I'm going to go against you as well using tariffs. Country 2 and Country 3 is going to go, hey, man, this dude's over here tripping. We're just going to keep our same old, we're going to keep our agreement, and we'll just buy from each other. We'll just bypass them, right? And we go, okay, we'll make that deal. So that's basically what's going on. I don't understand how you have 200 countries, 200 plus countries, and one country does tariffs against each country. Let's say it was all 200, right? Even the penguins. So after you do tariffs to all 200, what then? The other 200 nations are going to look like, what? Okay, guys, we used to buy from those guys, but why don't we make a deal amongst you guys and I'll buy from you? It's not like there's only one country, it's 200. They get to trade amongst themselves. This is a stupid scenario. You can't win this type of situation. And it's failed twice in American history. Late 1800s, we did this isolationism. And in the 1920s, 1930s, we also did the tariff war, isolationism. And both times it was disaster. So why now do you think in a global environment that it's all going to be good? Doesn't make any sense. You have to be an investor, right? Are you going to invest in the United States? That's your question right now. At Jonay, let's see. I can't read that. Oh, there we go. I don't know why you were in the Marine Corps. Once a Marine, you always a Marine. Did you retire as well, or how many years did you do? Thanks for your service. Exactly. If I would have known what I knew now, I might have went in there like 2 years. I would have went to France too for 2 years. That would have been awesome to be in the military. Well, not really awesome, but I should have went. Brian P. Happy day, Eric. I hope all is well with you. Happy day, SSN family. Smash that like button. Thank you so much. And welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Brian P., he's one of those Americans that's ready. He's been tracking. He's been using the Yield Max ETFs to get an exorbitant amount of dividends. Hopefully, he's continuing to get those dividends because at one time he had like 4,000 shares. That was months ago. Obviously, if he's still reinvesting, those 4,000 shares have turned into, I don't know, probably 5,000 shares on their own. Well, that's how it goes. So congratulations, Brian P. I'm sure every Friday is nice for you and you deserve it. Joe Nay. Well, there goes the supply chain. This now is a catastrophe. It already was. It already was. Let's go. We got a recommendation, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you got to have your pen, pads, and paper. My recommendation is that we should focus on what we can control. Let me know what we can control. Stock market's one. What else can you control? Do you know for a fact you're going to get your pension? Do you know for a fact you're going to get your 401k? Do you know for a fact that your insurance payment's going to be the same next year? Do you know your car insurance, what that's going to be? Do you know what your grocery bill is going to be next week? What can we control? There's nothing we can control. And by the way, let's get another thing straight, because post-retirement travel, I'm not mistaken, you're in jeopardy because your birth certificate, I don't know what it says, but I have a friend of mine who was born in Puerto Rico. And at one time he had a problem about, they were like, you're not even a US citizen. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is about maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago, where they said they're not going to allow Puerto Rican birth certificates. They're not real. So that he had to go in and prove when he was born, dates. It was crazy. But anyhow, all I'm trying to say is, if you look Latin, walking around, going through customs, coming back to the United States, I don't know what to tell you, because they are taking people's phones and they're holding people up saying, oh, we see you said something against our government that you did not like. Does that sound like a fascist environment, dictator? Yes. You did something, said something. We don't. Sorry, you're going to be detained. It's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. So when you say, what can we control? When you leave the United States, when you come back, we'll see what happens with you. But I hope it's all good. I hope nothing crazy happens, but there's no guarantee everything going smoothly. My friends who came up from where did he went to it wasn't Brazil. It wasn't Argentina. It was it Colombia? Oh, where's that? Guananasti? Um, hold on a second. It wasn't Mexico, right? Hold on, let me see where it is. It's in oh, it was in Costa Rica. Okay. My friend came back from Costa Rica. He's from Africa. One of the Cameroon. He lands at the Miami airport. I'm talking to him. He's standing in line at the immigration line. I'm sitting on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, man," because I got him his place down there in Costa Rica at oh man, what was the name of that? It was a Wyndham. I think it was a Wyndham in Costa Rica that is a 5-star. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And so when I found out about it, I had to deal with him to get him hooked up right. So there you go. Brian P. That's right, Eric. Checking the phone. Exactly, man. So I'm talking to him in Miami at the airport. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I just landed. Thanks for everything. I just wanted to let you know that we're going to be here for about 25 minutes. There's a long ass line." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" So I'm talking to him. All of a sudden, I hear some guy walk up to him. You hear him say something like, "Hey, you, I need to see your paperwork or something." He's in line. He's not even up to the agent. He's in line. I'm like, who is he's like, "Oh man, I'm in line." I said, "How many people in front of you?" He's like, "Oh man, there's probably like 100 people in front of me." He's like, "Oh, I'll call you back, man." I go, "What do you mean call me back? Leave the phone open." But anyhow, he hangs up the phone. I don't hear from him for 3 hours. 3 hours. This is 2016, 2017, because he has U.S. Paperwork. I don't know if he had the green card or what he had, but he's allowed to be in the U.S. He works at the airport at JFK. So they hemmed him up for 3 hours because I guess he uses, I don't know if he uses his Cameroon passport or not, but I think he did. And so they hemmed him up. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. This has been going on for a long time. What's happening? So this is why stability is a problem. So when we say stay invested in the market, I agree with this 110%. The rest of the stuff comes back to haunt us, because if we don't have people to get our food, pick our food, who's going to go do it? Now all of a sudden everything's going to cost more twice. Not labor has to cost more, automation has to cost more, and you also have tariffs, which now makes it cost more. So there's no way food prices are going down. There's no way gas prices are going down. There's no way anything's going down. The cost of goods are now going to be a lot more, especially if this freight thing, if this freight thing is actually a thing, trade war fallout, cancellations of Chinese freight ships begin, bookings plummet. If this is true, yes, it's true. A steep decline in containers being shipped to the U.S. will have a big impact on the supply chain from port to trucking, rail, and warehouse economics. Ladies and gentlemen, look, these jobs are not, they're generally union type jobs. These jobs are not $8 an hour. They're not $12 an hour. All right. When you're working on the docks, you're doing very good. When you're messing with containers, when you're dealing with warehouses, you're getting paid. Forklift drivers get paid nicely. All right. Come on. This is crazy right now. So yes, it's saying right here, this is crazy. We won't go to zero containers, but we will see a decrease in containers. And as a result, in the future, we will see a massive raft of blank sailings announced, one freight expert tells CNBC. Oh, man. The number of canceled sailings of freight vessels out of China is picking up as ocean carriers attempt to manage a pullback in orders due to the trade war and tariffs. So again, you know what this means, right? So instead of shipping to America, they're going to be shipping to other locations. It's that simple. Let me ask you guys something. This is a global economy, right? Let me ask you something. What would you do? I'm going to tell you something right now. I bought stuff in Hong Kong when Hong Kong was a, a, a territory for the UK, right? In the 1980s. I could have bought directly from China. But get this, if I ordered from China, there was a problem. Customs held up, all kind of crazy supply chain issues. If I order and pay a little more and order from Hong Kong, because of the agreement between UK and America, I could just get air directly to my house. I didn't even have to stop at customs. I didn't even have to deal with customs agents, nothing. Direct. But soon as Hong Kong got in the hands of China, supply chain issues. That's where things change. The same thing is happening right now. When you have this situation going on, this causes a price increase or you're not getting the products. And now you're going to have to, this is exactly what happened. You're going to have your stuff with customs. You're going to need a customs agent. You know that costs, right? They get a little piece. You got to pay them on top of the tariffs. You just don't get to just roll through. It's not coming on FedEx. It's not that like Apple can just get some Boeings and put them on their private jets and just bypass. No, that's not you. So anyhow, this is a bad sign as well. You know what else is a bad sign? Another thing is a bad sign is that the Panama Canal, that is not controlled by America. That's a bad sign. So if somebody really wants to start getting down and dirty, which the Chinese control it, this could be bad. Just saying. That's right, Eric. All right. Glad to hear it, Brian P. Very, very happy to hear this. Checking the phone. I want to hear what that phone says, man. All right. Yeah, Joe Nay says, troops on the border, U.S. soil. I would not be surprised if no one is allowed in or out of the country in the coming future. Joe Nay, I think I heard that from somebody before. So, well, like I said, the whole reason I said you better get that cheap property somewhere in the Caribbean, because if that border's closed, guess what isn't? None of the oceans are closed. So you can get a boat to get to a Caribbean island. I don't know about all y'all who want to walk through enemy territories illegally, going through Mexico, down through Costa Rica, trying to get to South America or even to Costa Rica. I'm not doing it. But I know I can get on a boat and go over to DR. And I got business that I can do, passport or not. So there's the little differences right there. And I agree with you, Joe Nate. I told you guys this was going to happen. I told you this was going to happen 5 years ago. I said, you guys, your passports could be cut off. Hell, at this point, your passport's not even really it's not even any good. I mean, it's good, but it's like scary, man. If you're a dissident, as they want to call you, and you get hemmed up, like, can you imagine my phone? That the guys are going to check my phone when I come back in the country, which I'm not leaving the country. But if I do, I come back in the country, they check my phone and they go, you've been talking mess about this administration. Stay over here for 3 hours or 4 hours. We got to talk to you. I mean, that's crazy stuff right there. Hey, Eric, did you see those emails? Yes, man. I sent you back a comments on a couple of them. All kind of mayhem is going on. Banks are stealing money. Insurance agents are stealing money. Stockbrokers are stealing money. Insurance companies are stealing. I mean, this is out of control. It's a third world country. But again, because we have so many people and it happens to a few thousand, a few 500,000, it doesn't move the needle because it's not happening to 10 million or 15 million. So they can get away with it because the media isn't the media anymore. This is not the old school media that was always trying to find Hey, there's a problem there. Let's go talk to people. Let's get in their face. Let's bring the cameras. Let's see what people are saying. Let's talk to the victims. Let's air this stuff. That's not here anymore. They'll air certain things, but unfortunately, we got problems. So are you guys going to prepare yourself? Are you going to be ready? That's the $1,000,000 question, because Joe Nay just hit upon what I've been saying for 5 years. Your passport could get turned off. Then what? You're just like China, Chinese citizen. You're just like a Philippine citizen. You're just like a Asian, a Thai citizen. You're just like a frickin' Colombian citizen, Venezuelan citizen. I mean, come on. That's what it is. That's what it would be like. That's what it is kind of like. And so now you're sitting here in a country that you possibly could be harmed, and you think that you're going to sit there and stay and not say, oh, if Mexico was the United States and it was reversed, do you think you're going to sit in the Mexico, the cartels of America, if Mexico allowed you in? Hell no, you're going to walk straight across. That's what you're going to do. If Mexico's across and they're going, hey man, it's all good. Hey, just stop over here. You can get yourself some asylum. Start filling out some paperwork. You got a court in like 3 months. Okay, welcome to America, but we got to know where you're going to live. Check in every week, and we're good. You would be like, oh, thank God, thank God, thank you, thank you. I don't have to worry about my family getting chopped up or being in the drug trade or the sex trade or whatever they're going to try and do. Thank you. Hell yes. And then all of a sudden you got somebody that rolls up and says, hey, man, you can't be here no more. This is where we are starting to get at. If you get like a Soviet bloc, Asian bloc country, Chinese type country, where you can't leave as a citizen unless you get permission. Can you imagine? This is what it's like right now for me. That's where this goes for me. Everybody else may be sitting on the sidelines thinking it can't happen. I knew this could happen like 5 years ago. You won't make it through northern Mexico. Exactly. If the Mexican police doesn't stop you and bribe you for money, the Mexican cartel will just take your money. You'll have to use the ATM in Costa Rica. You're not getting there. You're not getting there. Gringo in Mexico, not getting there. The English-speaking guy in Mexico can be found. And here's the thing that people don't realize, because unfortunately TV makes things light. But in Mexico, I've had friends who got hemmed up. Literally, cartel says, we're kidnapping you. You're not leaving. Who's your family? Da, 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 da. You're scared. You're scared. What are you going to do when somebody kidnaps you? You can't yell police. No police is coming to save you. They're sitting there talking about, we need 20 grand. We need 15 grand. What are you going to, you're not doing nothing. Now they're saying, we're going to start, we need to send a message. I think we need to chop off a finger. You don't, this is not a time to sit there and be like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. No, you will be freaking out. You will be freaking out if somebody said that. And you have to explain to them, hey man, nobody in my family has like $20,000, $30,000 that they can just ship over here right now. Oh, well then you need to move some product for us back to the United States or whatever other arrangement. Now you got to risk you going to jail in order for you not to be dead. This is what I'm saying. This is not the same as in America. America, you have freedom, so you take this stuff for granted. But when you are caught up just innocently, this is scary. So again, I implore everybody, you better start making arrangements. But again, congratulations for everybody that has a passport at least. Congratulations to everybody that at least started purchasing property outside the United States. because right now there's other countries that actually you have more freedom than here in the United States. It's crazy. All right. All right. I went off on a rant tonight. I wasn't really going to get into that. But when we start talking about these Chinese freights and we start talking about, the blowhard is sitting there, the Joker is sitting there talking about, I'm going to do tariffs and we win, da da da. And I told you guys I made several videos about tariffs. You're not winning nothing if you're in the United States. Quite frankly, I'll tell you who would win tariff war is China, and we're effing around with them. The reason why you can't win a tariff, if this was 1750, where America still had slavery and the production, a large production that goes out to the world was free labor, basically, then you would win. But now you're not that country. You're the country of consumerism. So therefore, the cheap labor is in Asia. So now they manufacture. All they have to do is do this. No more ships coming. Next thing, all they have to do is say, we're not making your stuff no more. And then you do what China just did. They embarrassed everybody. LVMH, Dior, all these dudes, they started telling. They said, oh, all these brands, we make their stuff. I started laughing. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I've been telling people on the SSN Nation channel that their stuff was already being made. But hold on, they're counterfeit. Oh man, you guys fell for it. It's counterfeit. I'm like, how's it counterfeit? It's from the same factory. I was like, but it's counterfeit. I'm just like, oh my God. Oh my God. People can't be this silly. You guys ever heard of irregulars? You have, right? Well, maybe not. Irregulars. What those are is if you make a shoe or clothes, the stitching came off wrong. You can't sell it at retail, right? Some thread came out wrong. So instead of sending it back through the line, trying to get it done, they just dump it in irregulars. Because irregulars it used to be sent to sometimes to countries that were third world countries for some people. They still actually do that. They dump it. And then other times they would put them in these stores. And so then people would say it's irregular, saying it's not real. And so I've been telling all my friends, I was like, guys, that stuff, some of this stuff is actually real, but they're calling it counterfeits. So now I love it that the Chinese just said, okay, world, all those fashion brands that you guys are paying stupid money for, we're making them. I started cracking up. Oh man. Oh man, I'm cracking up. This just happened yesterday or the day before. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, they finally let the cat out the bag. And Americans, you are consumers. So therefore, you don't have a say. All they have to do is shut down freight, shut down their market, and shut down their manufacturing. Now what? We're going to order from who? Sure, we're going to order. I mean, we'll just go to Mexico. But again, wages are higher in Mexico. You're going to go to Europe. Well, wages are higher in Europe. No matter where you go, the supply chain is different. The relationships are different. And you're not getting the same deal because you have tariffs against everybody. So now they know, okay, well, you got tariffs against us. We have tariffs against you. And we're not giving you any deals. That's what's happening. So if you think America's going to win a trade war, we're not. There's no way. There's no economic situation from a strategic playbook that we can win a tariff war against the world. There's no way, let alone China. We can't win it. China holds our bonds. A lot of, well, used to have more, but they have a lot of our bonds. So this is why the bond market went haywire, because again, they've positioned themselves to where it's our soft spots, because we don't manufacture here anymore at cheaper labor, even though it could be $7.25. But, I mean, nobody's showing up. And if somebody does show up, like in Springfield, The Haitians were moved there because the factories there didn't have people, so they moved them in legal status. And those people came to work on time every day, not bitching. But the American workers who worked there didn't come on time. They had a problem. And so therefore the manufacturing facilities in that city were happy with the Haitians. Nobody had a problem until the Joker shows up and starts spouting BS. So now that has changed a little things, but the owners of the businesses were pissed, and they have every right to, because they were paying people a livable wage, and the workers were showing up, not on their cell phones, they were there on time every day, clockwork, no problem in the community. And all of a sudden somebody goes, oh yeah, they're cooking the stuff out of a lake and stuff like this. I'm just like, okay, this is crazy. But I'm like, okay, let's say that did exist. I'm just like, why on earth are we in America talking about this? So I'm going to get this straight. I'm down in Texas. Dudes are saying, hey, man, let's go hunting. I'm thinking, hunting. Wrong. We're going to go up here in this box, man, and we're going to sit here and wait for these guys, for the animals. I'm like, are you serious right now? This is hunting? This is what you guys call hunting? And then we're going to talk about some dudes taking some stuff out of a lake. I'm like, this is crazy stuff, right? This is crazy stuff. Crazy. Trying to upend a community over when they need help. They lost 30 or 40,000 citizens because there was hardly any jobs there. Companies would come and then the people wouldn't want to work. So now they figured out the solution. We'll have some Haitians come. We can get 10 to 20,000 there. We'll get them employed. They're the workers. They're working fine. Then we're good. But then you want to blow that up and turn it into some other race baiting situation. And now you're hurting their business, that city in America. It's crazy what people are doing for their so-called country. It's crazy. Forego the Constitution, forego the laws, forego common sense. And now there's still people who believe America can win a trade war against the world. Hell, forget the world. Canada is our friend. We have trade war with them. Mexico, our friend. We have trade war with them. China, pseudo friend, kind of whatever, because generally we always have an understanding with trades. Now these guys have went full blown against us. They're like, fine, take away the freight, do the tariffs 50%. We don't really care. And they're doing everything because they realize they don't even need to order from us. They have the manufacturing facilities. They don't need us. We need them to buy bonds. We need them to produce cheap goods. So this nonsense that people are still sitting here acting like this is a good thing, dealing with China, like disrespecting them is a thing. There's some dude was on there calling the Chinese citizens peasants. I was like, is this for freaking real right now? One of our government officials in a freaking interview, out the words are peasant, the Chinese peasants. I was like, so you don't think a few days later something's going to happen with that disrespect? They're just like, we'll just shut on. If I'm them, we're talking about bad guys, good guys, whatever guys. If I'm them, we ain't talking no more. Do you, boo? Do you? You can charge us 150, 200% tariffs. Guess what? We sell to the rest of the world. Good luck. Good luck, America. Good luck, because you ain't buying shit from us no more. So that's all I'm saying. And so now, when you have your Mexican problem, Canada problem, and China problem, which actually is a large percentage of everything that goes to all the states in America, Walmart's in trouble. Amazon's going to be in trouble. All these things that we took for granted is now going to be upended. And now China is over there making deals with our former TPP partners and making their own side deals. This is insane right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Americans, Are you going to be ready? I've been saying it for 5 years. And unfortunately, it has come and arrived. Now you have 1 year, 8 months to go. And I suggest you figure something out, because I can figure out something. No debt. Highly suggest zero debt. Highly suggest you have as many streams of income that you can get. But generally, because we're in a consumer environment, it's generally online. You have to sell product, but now where do you get those products from? Even if you get them from Mexico, they're going to cost more, which is what happened with the book company. Their books were made in Mexico. Now they cost 25% more. Crazy stuff. And now he says he has to go out of business. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. He says we can't take that hit. He already figured the 10%, I think it was, or whatever. He goes, but when it jumped up, he said, I can't do the more. So he goes, we might have to be out of business by the end of the year, because we can't pay the extra. We already dealt with it. We reduced our expenses. We got everything down so we could deal with the tariff. But now that he increased the tariff, we have problems. So, I mean, this is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand. There's a cause and effect. The effect is so bad that even if you said, hey, it made us $1 trillion, the overall net effect is your citizens are poor because they have to pay more to buy the same goods. That means that's a pressure on your jobs, your employer, because your employer has to make a decision. Am I going to increase pay? Right? But how can you increase pay if your expenses for what you're doing go up 20, 25%? You can't increase pay for everybody at 20, 25%. You can't charge your customers 25%, 30% more. So it puts you in a no-win scenario. And so that's why this is an overall joke, and it's killing America like faster than if I was a Russian agent. So anyhow, that's bad news. Major Ocean Freight Alliance 1 has suspended until further notice a route it had previously been planning to bring back in May, which would include ports of Quindu, Ningbo, Shanghai, Busan, Vancouver, and Tacoma. Meanwhile, an existing route is planning to cancel its support call at Wilmington, North Carolina. Oh, damn. This is going to be coast to coast. Holy smokes. Oh, man. Wow. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, if each sailing was carrying 8,000 to 10,000 TEUs, 20-foot equivalent units, that would equal a decline in freight traffic of about 640,000 to 800,000 containers. Woo, can you imagine the railroads, the truckers, the interior transportation? I mean, all evaporating, gone. That's millions of jobs, ladies and gentlemen, just so you guys know. So here we are. Americans, are you going to be ready? How can we be ready? I want to hear if anybody's still watching. I want to hear this. I'm going to end this shortly. I just want to hear if anybody, because post-retirement travel, he gave us an answer. Stock market. I agree with him 100%. That's the last bastion that if you have to do something, you have to be there because of the top 10% owning so much of it. Because if that goes down, there's a whole bunch of fortunes that's gone. All the billionaires that people aspire to and listen to and all this, they'll be wiped. So then now you ask, well, is it about money or is it about the right thing to do? So now it all breaks down after you go broke. Now you're going to be still talking that same nonsense you were talking before, right? Saying it's all good, this, that, and the other, right? So that's where this is heading, unfortunately, because this is escalating out of control at this point. The rest of the world is sitting by with their popcorn, watching the top two nations go at it. And they're making their own side deals, not with America. So that leaves us odd man out, like it's 1929, 1930 all over again. That's bad news, ladies and gentlemen. Like it's 1895, 1897 all over again. Bad news, ladies and gentlemen. So long as you know that. So let me know what we got to do. I want to hear specifics. All right. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we know we can't make it. I'm not going through northern Mexico. You can forget that. That's why I said I'm never going through. I'm not walking nowhere near Mexico, down through Costa Rica. I'm not going down nowhere near Nicaragua. None of this. None of it. That's why I chose the ocean, the Caribbean. I know we can go to the Caribbean. Hell, we can go on a cruise and just get off the cruise and stay. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing around here. EV Place, he says, hey, Eric and everyone, my key word for this situation is diversity. Hey, EV Place, help me, because I mean, I've done a lot of investings over the years. This situation right here has never come up. So if you, what investments would you recommend? Gold, silver, yes. Stocks, 3, yes. But now what? After that, are you going to tell people to get into business, start a business? I wouldn't. I'm not telling anybody to start a business in this situation. You don't know what you're going to be dealing with, nor do you know how much the goods and services, if you're not having them made in America, you don't know how much they're going to cost you by the time you're to market or getting ready to make it. That would be a fool's errand, my opinion. But if you say, okay, go to bizbuysell.com, and buy into a business, and some of these businesses now, because of this tariff war, puts you in jeopardy. Do you really want to take over a business? Because you don't know what's going to happen with this freight fallout. You don't know what's going to happen with anything. So now you get into a business and you find out, oh, wait, by the way, this actually comes from, well, a country that's being tariffed. Now you find out, well, the numbers you gave me said this. It said that you made like a 30% profit. Now all of a sudden you find out you got 10% less on the table for your deal. That means they're going to make less. Even at the same numbers, they're going to make 10% less. That's not good. So now what? I mean, there's no way you can go with this because it's uncertainty. So if we have gold, silver stocks, good. Metals, good. Okay, stocks, good. Now, some of us have the ability to do short-term rentals. Okay, but when there's a problem in the economy, people don't travel as much. And speaking of people not traveling much, I see Tamara Larry in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And I like this open for business. I like to hear open for business. I want to find out what people are going to be investing in right now because, again, what do we got? What do we have? Okay, ETFs. Yes, I agree with you. Physical gold, silver. Yes, I agree with you. Properties on 3 continents. Again, I like what you're saying, but here's the thing. At this day and time, we have 70 to 78% of Americans that live paycheck to paycheck. My man, that's over 150 million. So that only leaves a small portion that could actually do what you're saying about the investments on 3 continents. Now, I do like that as an option, but here's the problem. With uncertainty and not knowing if you're going to be laid off, like Boeing individuals are about to be laid off here sometime in the next 3 months, 4 months, after that order from China doesn't continue to roll through in the billions. That's where the problem comes in. How can you put some money into another location where you're going to have to put 20% down or 10% down or 30% down and you don't get anything back in return? Just like gold. If you buy gold, you're not getting anything back in return. You're just holding on to it because if you sell it, then what's the point, right? I mean, you can sell it, but if it went from 3,300 to 10,000, that would be much better sell point. But if it goes 3,300 to 3,800 by this time next year, What is that? You've already lost. You're just breaking even with the inflation or tariffs. So that's where the problem comes in. Um, so where can we make money is the question. So we can do gold. That's putting it in a black hole. We can buy ETFs. They give dividends where now you have to buy enough ETFs or dividend funds or whatever to make money on that. So again, you need more revenue to come in, right? Because we don't know at this point with the way the tariff war is going that people that are executives now will be getting laid off because some corporations are going to be in jeopardy of going out of business. Imagine all the freight and transportation companies and things like this that now they were making 3, 5, 10, 20 million. All of a sudden they're in jeopardy now. Just like that. So keep that in mind. Tamara Larry, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream again and open for business. Let me hear from you guys because I want to know because I personally don't. I'm sitting there like, okay, we have passive income coming in. That's fine. But I'm sitting there like, man, can you imagine a day that you could wake up and your 401k is gone, your your uh, your Social Security is gone, your pension's gone, your business is now bringing in 50% less. All of a sudden, that changes everything, but your cost of living is going up. That is the worst scenario, and it's happening right before our eyes. All right, passive income is so important. I agree. And so is trying to reduce debt. I agree. Ramsey's solution is to be completely debt free, but I think that's not reasonable. A manageable debt like a mortgage is fine in my book. Yes, the problem is the manageable debt is not manageable. See, that's the thing right there. Because when you own a home, unfortunately, you have no controls. Next year or this year, when people get their renewals or no renewals, they're gonna say we're firing you. We're not gonna renew you. And then for other people, it'll be like, well, my insurance was 4,000 for the year. They're gonna go, well, now it's 7,500. That is significant changes. And never mind about property taxes, because they're rising too. And they're going to sit there and jack you. They'll just be like, well, instead of 2,000, it's now 3,500. Instead of 4,000, it's 8,000. Or in the case of, again, I'm over here in Cali, right? The homes, the homes, let's say $1 million. All right. So you're going to pay, well, depends on the county, but let's just put it this way, $16,000 a year in property tax. That's 1.6%. All right. You could be paying 16,000. And just to give you guys an idea, when I first started this channel, I was paying $12,000 a year in property taxes. All right. That's how much my property taxes. Crazy, crazy. But here's the other side. Back then, insurance, get this, was only $1,000, $1,200 a year. Insurance for the house. That's it. That's all it was. HOA was $70. They mow the front lawn and the upkeep of everything. They just didn't do the backyard, but the back lawn. But we have small lawns. So that's the extent of it. I can't even imagine right now what people are paying, which I know they're paying like 16,000 right now. Property taxes. The insurance is no longer 1,000 or 1,200. The insurance is like $4,000. So these are the things you have no control over. It's out of control. The HOA is now 235, I think they told me now. Not $70 a month anymore. So just by those numbers right there in, well, 7 years, something like that, I think, 7 years, there's a difference of $70 HOA went up $180. Insurance from 1,000, 1,200 went to $4,000 a year. So all of that ends up being, and the insurance is now, the property taxes are like 16,000 a year. 4 grand, 4 grand, and 200, $180 or whatever it is, right? That's 8 grand, ladies and gentlemen, just for the same place. And over that time, rehab would have needed to be done because the house was built in 2006. So rehab would have needed to be done because now we're at 20 years. Well, it was already needing, some stuff was going to happen clearly. There's no way you go 20 years without. So that's where we're at, right? So all that did not even include the rehab, whatever had to be, whatever needed to happen. And you guys know that some pipe burst, water happened, all kind of crazy. Insurance covered it, great, but still, that's where the problem comes in. You don't know how much things are going to cost next year, the year after, the year after. 8G's more, $800 more per month, $700 more per month. That's a lot. That's a lot. So just saying, ladies and gentlemen, these are the things you have to watch out for. But I like this. At least there's some sort of playbook. I know I'm sounding like Dave Ramsey right now, but I have to because I need you guys to have a 775 credit score by 1 year and 8 months. That's how it has to go. You guys get your credit down below in the description box. If you need to improve your credit, I forgot something. Let me do a smart credit. I don't have that down there in the description box because I should mention that every live stream. Go and get your smart credit monitoring system. That will help you out greatly. It does more than just does a lot more than just your scores. It can help you improve your scores by telling you which days are better to invest in, right? So that's what we're talking about here. Get yourself in position. And the only way you can get yourself in position is to reduce your debt the best you can, fast as you can. You can't do any of this high wire acts anymore. None of this liability buying. Cars are liabilities. Homes are liabilities. RVs are liabilities. Motorcycles, liabilities. Vacations, liabilities. All that stuff. Clothes are liabilities. And I hope a lot of people are going to watch this and you're listening and you understand that China just told you guys, Dior, a whole bunch of other companies are, they were having their stuff manufactured in China. And you guys are sitting there paying for the label and for the marketing. And you are willing to pay for stuff that's $20, $25 because it looked good and marketed right and has a brand name. You're willing to pay thousands for stuff that's 30, $50. Crazy stuff. They didn't say how much it was, but I'm just, back in the day, that's what it would be. So I used to do some stuff in the industry, like I told you guys, not really in the industry. What I did was I told you guys before, this should be on story night, but I mentioned it, is when I first was in college and I went down to San Francisco, and that's where I learned that clothing wasn't what the prices were. Because at the garment district, these guys were, I would see stuff like, I told this story before. Eddie Murphy had one of his comedy specials, and he wore these red leather pants, right? And I said, "Oh, those are cool." And then I saw somebody with something on GQ wearing something similar, and I said, "No, I want the red ones." And so, of course, those are, I don't even know where you get them. But anyhow, that's when I go down to the garment district. I go down to it wasn't the garment district at the time. I'm going down to the clothing area. And then as I'm hanging out, talking to people, that's when some guy says, "Hey man, you need to come over here to this garment district. If you want those red pants, you need to come over here." And I'm like, "What? They're not in the store?" I'm still thinking like a consumer, the store. I'm like, "What store?" He's like, "No, no, no. We're going down the back alley over here off Market Street." I'm like, "Are you for real right now?" And he's like, "Yeah." I go back alley, Market Street. This dude comes out. He's got like 2 pairs. He goes, "This is all we got, 2 pairs left." He's like, if you wear, I think I wore 30, 34, 32 at the time. He's like, yeah, if you're 34, 32, I got you. If you're 36, 34, I got you. So I tried on the whichever one I tried on, it fit perfect. I'm like, are you kidding me? I said, he goes, that'll be like 40 or 50, 40 or 50 bucks. I'm sitting there like, you know how they did those candy camera pranks and stuff? I'm sitting there like, dude, I don't want to hear nothing crazy. So right then and there, that's when I find out all that stuff that people are wearing, all that stuff people are marketing was literally pennies on the dollar. It's just that it's marketed, right? As with anything. So, marketing lesson 101, your product, how you form it and make it and makes it look, your branding, that does have a value. So, you choose what the value is, how you present it. So, that's when I find out that clothes aren't what they are. Then later on, when I start my business in SAC after college, all of a sudden I find myself with a I can't remember why I had to go down to the jewelry mart, but oh, I know why, because my one of my girlfriends sells you know, back in the day they would have like the women used to wear pantyhose, right? And then they would have parties. So come to find out, the wholesale place that was in Sacramento, they were one price. I found out down by the jewelry mart is where they have the actual real wholesale place, and the things are like $5 to $10 less per dozen. So we go down to the jewelry mart. Next thing I know, I get into the actual jeweler's vault. The guys start teaching me stuff. They're just like, hey man, here goes like I don't remember, but let's just say it's 2 carats. And then he starts saying these numbers, that these things like VVS. This is, then he's like, here's the, you know, look here inside, look at that you can see the carbon inside. He goes, this is why this is the value. So now I'm looking at like 2 carats gold, um upper end where there's hardly, I just see a speck of carbon in the 2 carats, right? So he's like, you know, this is like 20 grand at the jewelry store. I said, I know, because I actually went um, and found out how much, you know, jewelry does cost. And he goes, yeah, but here, this 2 carats right here is only like 3 grand. I said, let me get this straight. I can buy them here at the wholesale. He's like, yeah, because you have the wholesale license, whatever. I can buy this for 2 grand that's selling at the store for 20 at this high quality. He goes, yeah, exactly. That's why we're in the diamond business. I said, is this a joke right now? I think all these guys are punking. I'm like, this can't be true. I'm like, are you joking right now? He's like, no. So then, sure enough, here's one 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3 grand, 4 grand. I'm just like looking at this like, this is unbelievable. I was at the jewelry store for this was like 25 grand. This was like 30. I'm like looking at this stuff and I'm like looking at it through the scope and I'm like, there's nothing in here hardly, like a little dead speck of so minuscule you could miss it. But the naked eye, you can't see it. Just looks clear and shiny and everything. So that's when I started learning about jewelry. And I was like, oh my God, people are out here buying all this jewelry for stupid amounts of money when it's really only a few thousand. It was crazy stuff. So because I was searching and doing business, that's the only reason I ran into this stuff. But then you realize things aren't what they appear. That's when I learned back then that things weren't what they appear. And like I said, in college, I was already ordering stuff from Japan, from Hong Kong, and I was getting stuff, like I said, the 84 Olympics. I had the 84 Olympics watches. One of these days, I'll break one out. I found a couple of them in storage. I never really wore them. I just sold them. But I still have a couple of them. One of these days, I'll break them out. 84 Olympics, where they have the images of whatever it is. If it was swimming, it was like that. If it was basketball, I can't remember. I don't remember what it was. And then all the sports. And that's what I sold. on TV. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Shopping channel, but it wasn't a shopping channel. It was a bingo show. I've told this story before. A bingo show. During the bingo show, he would show items on the screen in the studio, and he would offer them up for auction. He would auction things. And so, like I told you guys, I was buying Olympic watches for the 84 Olympics in LA for a dozen for 108, shipped by air. I could be talking to him today. I'll have it by Monday. By air. I just need 2 dozen. 216 bucks. It's at my door Monday. I go down to the studio. I say, here's a dozen, 2 dozen, because he would usually sell like 8, 9 a night. You guys can do the math already. It's $9 including air to me. Leather strap and everything. So on the show, you don't think I cared that it sold for $28 one night, $35 another night, because he's selling multiples, right? I'm only buying these for $9, all in. And I had a crazy deal with him. Every 10 that sold, I keep. Every 2 that sold, he keeps. That was our split. So if there was like 10 on average, a dozen sold for $30, right? $360, $200 a week being in college is pretty good, especially in the 80s, right? When rent was, what, $200 or so? Crazy, right? So that's on average what was going on, because he did it twice. I can't remember, twice a week or something like that. So it might have even been more than that. I didn't even know. I just didn't care, really. I just had money. So the point is, while all that's going on, that's why I'm in tune with what happens when you start talking about um, tariffs and interrupting supply chains. Because back then, can you imagine all of a sudden waking up and you found out I'm getting a dozen for $108 shipped, and then the next day they would say, "Hey, Eric, the tariffs are 100%," and so now, since it is, you're going to pay 216. Now that changes the dynamics, where these things now are, what is that, $18 each. So you can see just from that example, there's no way I could, well, I could, $28 now is just like $10 per versus $20 per. It's a big difference, right? So $10 per, yeah, you'd still say, okay, Eric, that's a nice little profit. You didn't have to do anything, yada, yada. Okay, fine. But just like that, you cut my profit in half. So that's substantial. That's crazy. So that's what we're dealing with in real time in today's economy. So you guys understand, this is what's happening. So anyhow, that's why I love house is after rehab in 2022. Nice. Okay, I don't have a mortgage or any debts. Very well, EV Place. Wait a minute, I don't have a mortgage or any debt. Oh, excellent. That's excellent, man. Don't get a mortgage. Even if the interest rates magically go manipulated down 3%, do not do it. Do not do it. Refrain from that, because again, you don't know what your insurance is and you don't know what your real estate taxes are going to be the following. But your house price could go up. And even if it doesn't, they're still going to charge you more, because the city needs more money to actually do their own rehab for citizens. But that's a great job, EV Place. Congratulations, man. That is awesome to hear. He's already on track. Already on track. He has everything on track. That's where we want everybody to be. Post-retirement travel, Joe Nay, EV Place, Jawway J, Brian P. Everybody's on track. But again, things could change off a dime, apparently. So I'm glad you guys are here and paying attention, because you guys are doing the damn thing. And that is what we need to do out here. Because otherwise, we're going to be left behind. We're going to be left for dead. We're going to be part of that lower 85% that's going to be sitting here like, man, what are we going to do now if we have a lot of our streams of income shut down? Like me personally, I've had a lot of mine shut down, but it's partially because the streams were shut down, and it's partially because business dealings are different. Can't do business with people. So unfortunately, I'm not going to continue trying to do business with somebody when I know I'm going to get less than what we agree to. So therefore, I can't do business at all, but I'm shutting it down myself. But either way, that hurts because now my revenues are not nowhere near what they should be. So now I have to figure a different way to make the extra streams come. I was predicting this situation. There we go. All right. I like to hear this. Yes, I've been predicting it a long time. I was predicting this situation. I've stuck the components for next year of my operation. I'm sure Chinese, they filled up their warehouses on U.S. soil to a roof. Exactly. You got that exactly right, man. That would have been the smart move. EV Place also says, I don't have mortgage or any debts. That's great to hear, man. Everybody, that's what the goal is. That's the goal. That is the goal. Get your credit score 775 and up. That's the target. 775, not 750, not 720. It's 775 or up. That's where you're trying to live at coming out in the next 1 year, 8 months, which is going to be in about 2 weeks, 1 year, 7 months. That's where you need to be. Sooner the better. You get your the debt under control. Now, the house, you can't get under control, unfortunately. That's not going to be something you can get under control. You know what your mortgage payment is. You know what your present numbers are, but that's a liability. The car, you don't know what the liabilities are. You don't know what the insurance is going to be. You don't know what registration is going to be. You don't know, like right now, I got a smog car. Dude told me like $55 to smog. I'm sitting there like, damn, this used to be like 29, 39. This is 55 now. I'm like, this is crazy. And I got an engine light, which comes to find out the misfire, which means my spark plug in cylinder 5 isn't firing, which means it's probably out of a gap, is messed up, or I need a new spark plug. And then I started thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, let me get my records. When's the last time I even did a tune up on this damn thing? Because it's been sitting for a few years. Because I only use it when come to Cali. And so that's not good for a vehicle in itself. But nonetheless, I'm pretty sure I'm due for a tune-up anyhow. So instead of just changing out the cylinder with cleaning it up and doing whatever, I'll just do everything. So we'll get that out. But nonetheless, I got to do that. I'm going to pay the guys to do it. I'm going to have to deal with the registration, which is already paid, luckily. But registration still was like $250 or something. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. And on my Challenger, it's like $300 and some dollars. It's crazy. $500 and some dollars for registration of 2 vehicles. Motorcycle, 125. I mean, I'm spending like almost $1,000 in registration fees for vehicles. It's crazy. Just registration. It's crazy. Okay, 770. I'm close. There you go, EV Place. You're there, man. That's where you want to be. 770 is good for me. 775. Stay in that lane right there. Because what's going to end up happening is in 1 year, 8 months, you're going to find yourself in position where you might want to deploy that for multi-family units, not a single house. You're going to get multi-family. That's what you're going to get. That's the only thing you're going to get. Whether it's a 2 unit, 3, 4 units, FHA or not, you're going to be able to get stuff that you'll be able to go in and say, okay, hey, I need a loan for $500,000 for this 3-plex or $1 million for this. And they're going to say, okay, your credit score is this. You got to put down this. But because they're going to need to give out loans, they're going to bend the rules like they always do, right? That's how this works, because that's the only way they're going to be able to stimulate the economy. So tax cut, tax breaks, change the rules on mortgage and servicing and lending and origination fees and all that. You'll be in the mix, ladies and gentlemen. So get prepared, all right? 1 year, 8 months. So as long as you get it in 1 year, 8 months, that's fine. But I expect the fireworks to really go off after the 1 year, 8 months. But you'll already be in position if you already make it prematurely set yourself up. All right, I'm going to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. It's so much for the Americans. Are you guys going to be ready for this heartache that's going down? Let me know. Make sure you guys go down below. Get your smart credit, all right? They have specials under our affiliate link. Sometimes they have it where it's $1 a month for a few months. They got sometimes $5. It all depends. So you can actually check it out. Uh-oh, we got a problem. Hold on a second. I just realized. Oh, no. Hold on. I don't even have that on either. Hold on a second. I got to do something. Hold up. Oh, my. We're just getting ready to wrap this up, but my phone just went dark. The reason why it went dark is because I didn't have the power hooked up to it. So if I go out, I think I still have enough time, but that was wild. Hold on. Let me get this hooked back. Let's see if I get this right. All right, let me know if there's anything you guys want to talk about because I'm going to wrap this up. I love you guys very much. You guys know that. We're trying to make it out of here alive in America. You're an American, you're not an American, it does not matter. Everybody's trying to survive. So you guys got to survive no matter how you can the right way. All right? You know what the right way is. Oh, man, that's not working. Okay, well, we're going to wrap this up fast because I don't see that power cord popping up there. But nonetheless, all right, I just want to thank you guys. And once again, please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. That's why I make videos on the live streams to actually speak on things that a lot of people don't want to talk about publicly because you can be blackballed like we are. You could be your job watches videos and they will fire people. You even have a federal government and state governments that watches your video and they will, go against you. All kind of things that is not the American way. So therefore, I understand why when I say things, people may be raising their eyebrows saying it's harmful rhetoric is what YouTube says. But the fact of the matter is America is the land of the free, home of the brave. And unfortunately, the brave have to be brave by making sure that you can survive. It's very hard out here and it's getting harder. Why? Because remember the teeter-totter that I used to talk about a lot. If I have 300 million people and it's divided where originally you had 260 million of people working, so the teeter-totter is on the ground. But now all of a sudden you might have 175 million people working. The teeter-totter is off the ground. That's not a good sign because there's less revenue to the government, less jobs, less well-paying jobs. More people are not making that much money. So now the social systems within our taxpayer environment, a large amount of dollars have to go into these social services to help people. That's what a government is for, such as in America. So if we're doing that, then we can't keep having more and more people left out. And that's where the problem is coming. That's why it's a third world country, but you don't realize it yet. But you will, as you already see it's happening. But the fact of the matter is that is where we go, ladies and gentlemen. So all I can tell you is be prepared. We tried to talk about a few things. I was muchly on a rant tonight, but be back on Friday at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I greatly appreciate that. And we'll see what we're going to be talking about. And I forgot to talk about the DR. DR came out with the numbers, but again, they did not give us the air numbers separately. They hid the numbers, but I will tell you this. Everybody, pay attention. The realtors told people, EV Place, I'm glad you're still here. Check this out. Thought times makes thought people. Oh, tough times make tough people. Stay prepared. Exactly. EV Play, since you're here, I want to hear from you because you told me at one time somebody in the DR told you that occupancy rates for hotels were like 90 something percent, right? Well, this is rare because usually DR doesn't give hotel occupancy rate. They said in the month of March, I'll be making a video tomorrow about it. Well, if I can upload it, it'll upload, but we'll see. Anyhow, it's in fact, hold on a second. Hopefully this doesn't go out, but let me see. I can pull it up. Let me go pull this up. Dominican, send Dominican today. It was in the 80 percentile range for the month of March. All right. It was in business. Yeah, exactly. It was. Yep. But for the longest, they never put it in there. And where is it? Uh, and they were giving these numbers like 93, 97%. But now all of a sudden, the tourism guy says, here's what it says. They won't say anything. This is weird. Here's what they said. Oh, man, come on. Well, we're going to get to it in a second. But here's what they said. This is what they said. While can't end the broadcast unless I'm here. So EV Play's still here if you are. 81%. Few days later, they'll release more details. Yeah, usually they release it all, but the reason why they don't is because it's not a new record. So anyhow, the hotel sector averaged 81% occupancy over the whole island. That's not 90 something for the month of March. 89% though, you know where? Punta Cana, ladies and gentlemen. And La Romana, surprisingly, 85% for La Romana. Hotels, not Airbnbs. Hotels. All right. So air arrivals are dip. That's correct. Tourism surges. Yeah, cruise is going to surge because they have 8 ports now. So that's going to be clear. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. So no surprise about the cruise. That's why I don't count cruises, because that's irrelevant. Unless you're going to be having a business by the cruise port. Otherwise, for short-term rentals, cruises are not relevant. The people get back on the ship in 5-7 hours. So that's not really a mass thing. Also, we have to worry about hotels. We need their occupancy to be 90-something%. We don't need to see 81% in March in all of DR. We need to see 89% in Bavaro. That's nice, but it needs to be like 97, 95. It's got to be up there for short-term rentals to survive with the amount of 6,000 short-term rentals. This is why, once again, I had target numbers. 250,000 or less is what you should buy. Now, those target numbers from before are not even relative. Now you need 150 and under, needs to be a purchase price. 175 and under needs to be a purchase price. Forget anything past that, because at this point, you can just sit back and wait. There's so many projects that are going to come out, but you can already see tourist numbers are not going to be there potentially this year. If we have 89%, not 99, not 97 in the month of March, which is spring break, which again, there might have been mitigating circumstances when the girl went missing. We have this weekend is Easter. We know it's supposed to be hefty in Easter, right? We know there's going to be 90, but that's 2 weeks. We're going on week 8 is ending next week, or yeah, the week after is week 8. 12. We need 3 months. We need all 3 months to be over 90. So far, March is not over 90. It's only 81%. And I think occupancy in February is 83% for hotels. So nowhere near 90. So do you understand? I want everybody to understand, if you're a short-term, if you plan on being in the short-term rental game, this is why I told everybody, why would you invest at another location when you can see the numbers bear? Punta Cana has 89% of occupancy for their hotels. You need to be in that 90%, because then if people can't stay places in Punta Cana, then they choose short-term rentals, or vice versa. Some people like to stay short-term rentals. But the point I'm trying to make is hotels need to be full. So if somebody's coming to Punta Cana, they say, oh, the 10, 20, 50, 60,000 people, they need to go search for Airbnbs. They're not going to the hotel, because the hotel's sitting there saying, well, it's all inclusive. It's going to cost 700, 500, 400, 300 per night. People are like, well, my airfare cost me 500, 600 round trip. So I can't spend 450 a night. I can't spend 350 a night. Where is that other place that I can get something where they have amenities, or some place that's cool that I can walk around? It's in a good area. That's where your 170, your 150, your $50,000 units are coming more valuable, because you'll be able to get that higher occupancy rate because you can charge less. The people that are buying now, they can't touch you, because they have to pay. A 1 bedroom is going to cost them like generally about 170, I think, is on the open market these days. Then the 2 bedrooms are in the 2s. Nobody's going to be getting $220, $230 a night for a regular old 2-bedroom condo. That's not happening. All right. You got to have some cachet. You got to say, hey, this is what I do. This is, hey, we have the basketball court. We have the sports complex. We have Something. My unit's a swim up unit. You got to have something. That's it. I'm across the street from a man-made beach. You can see from my unit the man-made lake. That kind of stuff. So you can get your 0.1%. So you can stay in double figures your first year, not wait 5 years, 4 years later. And then we have to hope that there's not a total slowdown in the DR with real estate, not for anybody that's buying at the cheaper prices, but for everybody who is still waiting for their units. You got to hope there's not an actual slowdown for real estate building, because now you're going to find a situation where me, you, everybody else, we can just sit back and wait. Because if we can't get anything, we can still get something at 130s, 120s. That's cool. I'll get it, especially if it's across the street from a lake like at Vistacana, right? But elsewhere, one bedrooms are 170, 175, 180, 199. Crazy, right? So what happens if there's stagnation? That means those new buildings, they're not going to be able to sell. Did you guys see the 99,000 unit at Panorama Luxury that's available? That's right. Instagram, stop struggling now. 99,000, they're selling a studio for 99,000 at Panorama Luxury at Vistacana. Now, I don't know if it's Lake View. I doubt it. But the point is, that's at Panorama Luxury. Inside Vistacana, right on the lake is the buildings. That's pretty good. That's freaking great price. I think you might be able to get $100 a night. I don't see why not. People are spending that to stay at the AC Hotel, 134. Well, actually, it's more than that. It ends up being 180, 190, maybe even 200. I haven't checked this year, but might even be 199, 200 right now. But the point I'm trying to make is you've set yourself up for the right thing. But if this does a slowdown, like I think, then you're going to have an opportunity on the other side. I agree, Eric, but 3 years ago was hard to predict those turbulence coming. No, EV. I hear what you're saying. It wasn't hard to predict. No, here's the thing, EV. That's why you always heard me say 0.1%. That's what you have to buy for. That's why I've been doing this a long time. That's why once you understand why I use 0.1%, it's based on, because if you go look at Airbnb right now and you go and buy a unit somewhere and you have to figure out at today's prices, can you get 0.1%? And if you say no, then you have to start reevaluating. You start going, well, wait a minute, if I can't get that now, are you really going to take a risk that you can get it later? And then you go, oh, yeah, I can. But then if you know what I know, and I'm sure you know, that delivery has been late, 5 years later, 4 years later, 6, 7 years later is a thing, then you realize I can't count on the 0.1 anytime later. Because if we have a stall, like it happens every 11 years, right? On average, 8 to 11 years, there's a recession. That's what traditionally happens. So you know there could be a stall. But even during a stall, if the 0.1% will still get you your double figures. That's the difference. Even if there's a stall on developing. We don't care. Good. You had a stall because my unit's made. Great. And the stall now gets another person into the game later on, because now we'll have something like what Panorama Luxury is doing, 99,000 for a studio unit when they were trying to jack people before, because they didn't sell out all of them. They sold a large percentage of the units, but now because of their shenanigans, they have units left over, or people may not even be buying them because remember, they're late too. They're going to be late. I'll put it that way. Yep, I know this 0.1% rule from someone else also. I'm on 100%. You can't get 100%. Not yet, not first year usually. So, but all I'm trying to say is that rule, I've never heard anybody else use it, but that 0.1%, I've always used myself, because to me, that if I can get 50% occupancy, then I know I have double digit returns with management. So if you are like Raydell Cabezas, who's doing his own management and doesn't have to pay the 25% or 30, then you're gonna make well more than 10 to 15. You'll be in the 15 to 20, maybe even 20 to 30% range. Year one, which is crazy. He was on track. I mean, the man told us he was making $7,000 a month. December, January, and February. He bought his unit for $300,000 at the beach. He has a penthouse unit at the beach, and he furnished it. SSN Nation approved, just like what I used to tell people: do this, do that. His wife and him, man, the place is awesome, and he's getting $7,000 a month, 21,000 already this year. Well, not December, January, and February. I don't know what's happened in March. 21,000 in 3 months. 310,000. All he needs, well, we're going to have a slow season, right? We're going to, after this month, he'll probably have a little slow season, right? Summertime is not really slow, but this year it could be. All the rest of the year may not be 7,000, but he got 21,000. All he needs is for this month right here, if it's only 4,000, he still has 25 G's, and now he has 8 months just to make another 7 G's. I think that's not going to be a problem. All right. I don't see how that's going to be a problem. So he's going to exceed 10% easily because he doesn't have to pay 25%. If he had to pay 25% or 30, but we'll use 25%, let's just say this month he had 28. He would only be at 21 because he would have to give up 1/4, right? The management fee. So that automatically changes the whole landscape. But although he'll still meet his 10% and plus, but it's so much nicer when you don't have to give up 1/4 of your revenue. So that's why it's that's why I go by the number one. Yes, private management, 2 penthouses hopefully will be delivered next month. All right, keep us posted. It's fully furnished or not. That'll be cool. But anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I was on way too long because whenever I get into this situation, we start talking about real estate in Punta Cana. I enjoy real estate because there's so many variables. And also what's going to happen is I just got something from a man in Cincinnati. This dude, he always sends me stuff for Cincinnati for real estate deals. And he always fills out the perfect Excel spreadsheet. He always gives me the numbers. He gives everything there for a buyer to buy if the numbers make sense. Oftentimes the numbers make sense, but I don't really like single individual homes or condos in Cincinnati because most of the time these deals are based on places that were built in the 1960s and 70s. And even though they're a great deal on paper, even though they're a great deal with people renting the rent roll or these apartments sometimes, I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's also like in a recessionary environment, do you want to take headaches on older buildings? I don't. But he still sends me stuff all the time. So maybe next week I'll show one of the items when I can get up my internet from somewhere. I don't know. This hotspot they had for Xfinity doesn't work. It worked that one night, and then from that time on, I can't connect anymore. It says incorrect password or something. I'm like, how's this possible? Can't even put a password in. So I'm like, this is crazy. But anyhow, all right, everybody, you guys sound like you guys are in place. EV place, he's on target. He's set himself up for success. He's put himself in the perfect place. Joe Nay, Yahweh J, Brian P. I'm proud of all you guys. You guys have done great. I'm missing out post-retirement travel. He's already been done the damn thing. He's put himself in position for greatness as well, and he's just going to be Mr. Worldwide for the rest of his lifetime. But nonetheless, all I can say is, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stay safe out here. Make sure you watch your back, watch your six, watch everything that you do, because you never know what's going on behind you. When the guy was going to his jury duty, or not jury duty, but when he had his immigration hearing at the courthouse, I can't remember what city it was in, he's in the elevator. He gets out There's 4 guys behind him in plain clothes, and the guy's like, hey, I need to talk to you. He looks at him like, and the guys are like grabbing him. He's like, what the? He starts running. They tackle him. In the hallway is a guy that has a cane, and he looks to be overweight. They actually landed on the back of his legs. He fell down. I don't know what happened after that. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff is happening. So you never know. Even if you're just minding your own business, there's craziness happening around a lot of areas that should not be happening. So just keep that in mind. All right? And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out. You know what? I forgot something. Hold on a second. We have music. We got to play the music. We're not out yet, but we're out.